Hey guys, I wanted to assemble the best possible resource on the internet for construction, home remodeling business because I couldn't find that information myself when I was looking, and I had to assemble that by bits and pieces all together. Took me so many years, bought a lot of courses, figured out a couple of different things with me with help of other people, and now I want to concentrate and put that into one small, very quick program that's gonna help you basically going from where you are right now to double, triple your sales in absolute minimum amount of time. Basically in a week you should be able to start doing very good progress, because the information here is strictly no water, just action, and it's the best of the best of the best that you can implement, and you can start implementing it like right now. So in this jumpstart program I will be showing a couple of different things. They are outlined below, and the first one is how I'm able to charge double minimum, usually double to triple, to what contractors charge, to the quotes that I'm getting. People ask me to match them, and obviously I'm not gonna do that, and I included one example right in this video as well. So most of the contractors, they charging half of what I'm charging, at least. I usually charge double or triple. Well, because I have to make money, right? So if your business model will be similar as mine, for example, you're doing just sales, then probably gotta take the same approach. If you are a contractor, you're gonna do stuff yourself with your own guys, you still gotta kind of take that approach, because otherwise there is no point to do what most people are doing. And most people, like absolute most people that I kind of compete with, which I actually don't, and I explain later, charge half of it. And that's not a joke. I'll show you a couple of quotes. This is an example. This is the file example, and look at this prices: 12k, 8 something, 8, and this is the total, right? This is the client's price list. Now let's open the same file and look at the installer prices. You can see it's the same thing. There you go. This is the top. This is the price. And here I'm going to show you the old version before I put everything vertically. This is the 1, this is the 2, this is the 3, and that's the total. You can see the same file. Even for example, the ceiling that I'm doing, sell it for 3,500. I usually pay 800 to 1,000 to installers. It's 2 people, 1 day installation with delivery, and then materials are about 300 bucks. And if the shop guys will usually get about 600 bucks to make it, so that's what, 1,500 everything, and I sell it for 3,500. So again, that stuff is super real. This is just the problem is people who doing jobs every day. I mean, they're doing it great, but they have no knowledge, they have no ability, they have no time. They don't know any tricks. They know tricks how to install, but they don't know tricks how to get the right customer, get attention of the right customer, and actually win that game. Once you know how to do it, then you must be charging that much. You cannot charge less, especially because you want to make sure that later you have money for advertisement. Because if you charge as other contractors charging, there is no money for advertisement, and then you always going to be under. You're never going to win the game. So you want to charge it the same amount of money, and I'll show you how to do it. So the second part is there is a problem with industry. The basic problem is this: like when new people come to the industry, they pretty much typically just copying what's in the industry already, which is like absolutely wrong, because you're copying the most of people. Like in a competitive environment, copying what most people are doing is completely wrong thing, and it just doesn't work. It's not gonna work. It's not meant to work. It's because of that. Because if you do that, because all of the people copying, because all of the businesses are copy of each other, there is nothing new, nothing different, nothing special, and no reasons they actually exist on the market, rather than providing the same service, maybe just cheaper, a little bit faster, maybe a little bit better. But at the end, there is no big differentiator, because the way they run the business, the way they come into the business, they copy that from somebody else or from group of other people they just see on the market, from group of people who are visible. The thing is, what's visible, it's not exactly what you need to be doing, and that also I'm going to explain as a second part, and how to avoid it. So the third thing is, what are the best platforms to advertise your business? I mean, word of mouth is great, but it's super slow. It's not controllable. It's kind of reliable. It's good as a tail of clients. It's good as like, it's must be there, but you can't really control, and you can't really build a system if you don't know how to advertise. In order for you to know how to advertise, you need to understand why it's working and why it's not working, and why it's working on one platform and why it's not working on other platforms. And there is no point to push that. There is no point. You just need to let it go and just forget about it. And I explained that in part 3 in good details. So part 4 is what makes job marginal. Why some jobs you just cannot get any margin out of it. It's just pretty much impossible unless you're lucky. You just heard somebody doing that, but in reality there is no consistent process that you can repeat over and over and over. You just can't do it. And some jobs are consistently marginal. They just tend to have like huge margins. And there are other providers on internet, they actually all available. You just need to search, but there are still good margins, and there is a formula why there could be margin in products and why some of them just no way. And I'll explain that in that part 4, I believe. So part 5 is, how do you grab the attention of as many prospects as possible, considering what you have, what setup you have, what assets you have, and considering your qualities that you have, and how you can use them in your benefit to do minimum amount of movements, like minimum, and how you can find that place, like that exact spot, so you kind of don't competing with a huge guys and bunch of small guys not competing with you directly. At least you stand separately. And how do you attract as many clients or prospects, I would say, on this stage, as many as possible. So the next chapter is, how do you pick out of those only the best segment of clients, because you're gonna get the whole basket of everything. You need to segment it really well, and it's fairly easy. It's very easy to do. You just need to do it a couple of times. Once you do it, you will understand, oh, okay, that's how I do it, and that's fine. But the problem, sometimes you just work for loudest people, like whoever screams the most, they kind of grab your attention, and you tend to work for these people because they know how to do it. In reality, those, most of the time, they not the best ones. They far from the best ones. They pretty much pay the cheapest, and they really want to push you around. And that's pretty much the worst segment of clientele. And I'll show you how to get like the best, how they look like, and how to actually speak to them, not to speak to other people. Other people will be, what's the right word? They will be kind of upset, but it doesn't matter. Like, you need to only apply to the segment that pays well and only set up everything specifically for that segment. The next part is, how do you work around the competition? There are competition everywhere. If you look in Google, Facebook, wherever you go, there are a lot of competition. How do you work around it? Why people buy, let's say, why people can spend 3,000 on something that's sold elsewhere for 1,500? How is that even possible? Why? Are they stupid, or what's going on? Of course they're not. They just believe in certain things, and you need to show those things in order to attract it. Once you do that, the competition will be standing right beside. But for those segment of client, and we're talking about the segments specifically, it's not going to be any difference. They're going to look specifically at you. The other segments will be looking at the competition. You need to understand that there are some segments, and you just need to let them go. You can't get all of them. And in fact, you only need to work with a very tiny segment that you set up for. This is the absolute best way. The other stuff, the other prospects, they will be looking at your competitors, and that's fine. That's how it's supposed to be. So now, how do you sell really expensive, even if you're an immigrant and if you have a poor English? As you can see, my English is not first language, and I had a huge problems and huge confidence problems with that, and I'm still talking with big accent, and I'm still thinking about the words too much, and it's not easy for me, but in reality it doesn't really matter much if the other parts are good. It doesn't matter, like, for example, if you have own house and somebody comes to your house, and one guy has a perfect English, the second person has a little bit not that great, but you are really certain that the second person can also help you, and he's got some other qualities that the first person. English is not going to be a problem anyway, so, but there are a couple of tricks that needs to be done in a certain timing that you absolutely cannot lose. Otherwise it's going to be very hard to get back your control or get back your position, I guess, and I'll show you in that part. So the other part is how to kill the main expense. There are a lot of expenses that are associated with the business, but there are few expenses that are actually like really bad, and the whole industry is using it and it's just fine, and they treat them as expenses, but it's just not a smart way to have them as expenses. I mean, it's fun and all that, but it's better, if you want, it's better to just cut them off, and I'll explain that as well. And we're gonna basically go for the main expense. We're not gonna care about the small stuff. It's gonna be like the biggest time and money killer. One of the questions that I usually get, SEO. When do you need to do SEO? What are you gonna do with automations, and how to run ads? So those things you need to implement once the first steps are done. Once the first steps are done, those things like a kind of like a gas on a fire. They not gonna work without a fire. It's accelerators. Like the SEO is not good in the beginning at all. Like, it's not good. Like, you're just gonna kill all your time. But once everything is in set, SEO is actually very good, because it's kind of cheap nowadays, because nobody doing SEO anymore, so it's cheap. and then it just works by itself. I got a website that keeps me sending me clients for like 6 years. I don't do any SEO. I did it like 6 years ago. I set it up probably in 2 months, and I'm still getting it. At that time it was expensive. I spent a bunch of, maybe like 5K to it. Now it's probably gonna cost maybe 1,000, probably, if you pay. If you do it yourself, obviously it's your time. And I can teach you that as well. But the results you get from it, the long-term results, like way bigger than that. I don't know how many times, like how many hundreds of times. So, but SEO is absolutely bad in the beginning and absolutely great when the first steps are set up. Same thing with automation. The automations are very easy to set up. I got the videos on how to do that. It's very simple. You just watch the videos, set them up, and then you put your things in it, and it just starts working for you. And it does a lot of things. It does follow-ups. It does automatic, what is it, like newsletters or whatever they called. Like, we call it a little bit different, but you get the point. Like updates, and then. What else was the ads? Ads are really great. Again, once you have all the processes in place, then you can run ads, and ads are very great. They have a really great scale factor because you can just turn them on and they just start bringing leads to the situation that you're not gonna have enough people. That's for sure. You're gonna need to stop the ads, and you're gonna need to go and get more guys. And then the next thing is I'm going to explain is how I do hiring, and what's the most common mistakes people have with hiring, like typically with putting their ads on the platforms. There are a bunch of platforms actually that you can use for, but the rules are pretty much same. Most of the companies, the way their ads are structured, they're not gonna get good results. Like, and I can show you one of my recent posts. It's a simple post. It takes 2 minutes to do that post, and I get about 15 leads a day. Now, when no one wants to work, when everyone is on government support, yeah. So the problem again of a structure of how they position themselves and how they run their ads or their presentations, it's all kind of the same thing. Once you learn one thing, you will understand the whole that puzzle will set, and you will understand the ads and the post. It's all kind of same, very similar thing. So guys, get in a program right now. There are a lot of value. I put insanely lot of value, and I'm putting it in at insanely low price at the moment while I'm building the infrastructure for myself. And you have my full attention right now at this moment while I'm still not overwhelmed with my own clients. So get it now, get good discount, and I'll be happy to work with you, and I'll be happy to see your success.